And jury selection is scheduled to resume today to find the remaining 5 alternate jurors for the historic criminal hush money trial against former President Donald Trump. 12 jurors have been seated despite yesterday's setbacks that resulted in the dismissal of 2 jurors who were already seated. Now 7 men and 5 women will become part of history when they sit in judgment of the former president. Trump spoke earlier today from the courthouse, railing against the gag order and blaming the judge.
The judge has to take off this gag order. It's very, very unfair that my constitutional rights have been taken away. Thank you very much.
Now, opening statements are expected as early as Monday. Trump has pleaded not guilty to falsifying business records to conceal a hush money payment to Stormy Daniels before the 2016 election. I want to bring in ABC News executive editorial producer John Santucci. He joins me here now. Also, former federal prosecutor for New York Southern District Con Nowadays. But John, I want to start with you on this. So Trump is saying, or prosecutors are saying, that Trump violated this gag order multiple times, but he's also been allowed to attack the judge. Like we heard today. I mean, why is that?
Well, you know, listen, I think trying to get inside Donald Trump's head of why he's violating a gag order, I'm not even going to attempt it. But the reality is that Donald Trump has seen the benefit politically of attacking judges, prosecutors, witnesses. And in some ways, you know, Ron DeSantis said this famously last year, these indictments are helping Donald Trump politically. They certainly did. Now, obviously, Donald Trump didn't want it to be a moment that would get him to the courtroom, but that is due where we find ourselves.
It's been big for his fundraising.
Oh, 100%. Listen, Donald Trump, every time he walked into a courtroom last year, Alex, you'll remember this, it was Trump walks in, statement released, fundraising email blasted out to his supporters. I mean, that was the three-step process there. But I do think, though, as far as the gag order is concerned, you know, Trump has to be careful, but Trump at the same time doesn't want to be careful because in some ways he wants to get hit by this judge. He wants to be knocked. Now, the reality is it depends on how consequential it becomes. What I mean by that is that right now we're looking at a monetary consequence, right? I think we're up to something maybe about $10,000. 3 violations Monday, 7 violations yesterday. Thank God I could do math, and we're at 10. But if it becomes more of a consequence, and Con can speak more to this, that if you keep violating a gag order, someone could hold you in contempt of court and put you in jail. I don't think we're going to get there, but the threat of getting there, you could see a world where even Donald Trump's lawyers would say, you have to knock it off.
Well, and Con, I want you to weigh in on this. I mean, you know Judge Marchand. I mean, how likely is it, knowing the judge's temperament, that these penalties could escalate?
I agree with John. I don't think they're going to escalate to Judge Marchand putting Trump into jail. I do think, though, that Judge Marchand is going to admonish Trump very, very strongly if he continues this conduct, because Marchand has to control this trial. He has to control this courtroom, and he can't have Trump doing things that he has been doing in other cases to disrupt the proceedings. And I agree with John. I think his lawyers, I mean, they are telling him right now, please, whispering in his ear, please tone it down, because it is a distraction to the trial that's going on. It's a distraction to the defense. But of course, Trump has other reasons, political reasons, why he's doing it.
Sure. Well, and John, look, I mean, a lot's been made about the prosecutors not releasing the names of these first witnesses following opening statements.
That's right.
How is the Trump team responding to this?
Well, the reality is the Trump team already has a pretty good sense of who the witnesses are going to be for 2 reasons, right? One, there's been this ongoing dialogue. Obviously, the comments made by Judge Marchand going through all the potential witnesses, and take all of that off the table for 5 seconds, right? 2 things to remember. 1, discovery, so they know who's gone into a grand jury. And also, we, the media, we reported it every 5 seconds for the weeks leading up to that indictment last year, right? We saw Hope Hicks, Kellyanne Conway, other senior advisors that once worked for Donald Trump. You saw former assistants like Rona Graff and Madeline Westerhout also go in. So they have a pretty good sense of what's going to be. And look, you know, the 2 stars of this case, if you will, are going to be Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen. There's no case without either of them, so they're prepared for all of them.
Gotcha. John Santucci, Con Nowadays, you've been with us all week. I feel like we'll be together quite some more time. Thank you very much. And also, we'll be covering this trial throughout the day. You can follow along on ABC News Live.